Chapter 68. Attack. Wind and Lightning Claw. Lei Tai's speed increased dramatically. In just a few breaths' time, he had already arrived in front of Xiao Yan. Looking at Xiao Yan, who was right in front of him, Lei Tai gave a ferocious smile. His 5 fingers turned into claws, and a strike that contained a strong force of lightning struck towards Xiao Yan like a bolt of lightning. Xiao Yan's facial expression didn't change. When faced with Lei Tai's extremely sharp claw, not only did he not dodge it, he even slightly leaned his body forward. Both of his fists carried a rumbling sound as they struck towards Xiao Yan. The punch was aimed at Lei Tai's chest. The slight explosion caused Lei Tai's facial expression to change. Looking at Xiao Yan, who was trying to injure him, Lei Tai coldly harumphed. The corner of his mouth curved into a cold smile. His speed increased once again, and a fierce attack was launched. In the blink of an eye, he had arrived at Xiao Yan's chest, and the sharp edge of the lightning pierced towards the latter. Bang! His 5 fingers were like 5 sharp daggers as they fiercely grabbed downwards. At the same time, Xiao Yan's fist also steadily landed on the former's chest. The powerful force contained within the fist caused Lei Tai's face to instantly turn extremely pale. He let out a muffled groan, and a trace of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. When Xiao Yan's fist landed on him, Lei Tai's fist also accurately grabbed towards Xiao Yan's chest. The sound of flesh being torn apart didn't ring out, and he was slightly stunned. Lei Tai could not help the blood in his chest tumbling. He spat out a mouthful of blood and staggered backwards. Xiao Yan threw out a punch. He glanced at his chest. There, a golden flame barrier was slowly disappearing. Raising his head, Xiao Yan waved his hand casually. The flame on his palm curled up, and the blood that spurted out in front of him disappeared. Looking at Lei Tai, who had taken a few steps back, Xiao Yan smiled lightly. He suddenly exerted strength on both of his legs and put his 2 fingers together. The pure origin of the flame surged onto his fingers like a hunting leopard, charging towards Lei Tai. Looking at the sudden reversal of the situation on the battlefield, everyone below the stage was shocked. Just a moment ago, Lei Tai had displayed his true strength. Before everyone could recover from their shock, Lei Tai, who had been charging forward aggressively, had already retreated in a sorry state. This dramatic change stunned everyone. This guy is able to knock Lei Tai back with just 1 palm strike. Qin Fei, who was standing below, saw Xiao Yan rushing towards Lei Tai. His facial expression became richer, although he was very confident in Xiao Yan's ability. That was because Lei Tai was the 2nd Dao Sovereign Master. After Lei Tai unleashed his true strength, Qin Fei's heart suddenly skipped a beat. 3 Dao Sovereign Masters and 1 Dao Sovereign Master. The gap between them was not small, but the tension in his heart disappeared when Xiao Yan sent Lei Tai flying with a punch. On the high platform, Lien Yunhai finally let out a sigh of relief because of Lei Tai's explosive strength of 3 Sovereign Masters. Beside him, even Yunya heaved a sigh of relief, and her beautiful eyes were filled with anger. Not far away, the smile on Rex's face faded because of Lei Tai's retreat, and it was replaced by a gloomy expression. He could clearly see the mouthful of blood that Lei Tai spurted out. Even with the strength of his 3 Dao Sovereign Masters, they couldn't withstand a single punch from a single Dao Sovereign Master. Rex's vicious gaze was like a sharp sword as he looked at Xiao Yan's chest. There wasn't even a scratch on his clothes. How is this possible? The Wind Lightning Claw is an elementary sovereign art. No matter how hard this kid's bones are, there's no reason that he can't even scratch his clothes. A bright light flickered in his muddy old eyes. Rex's heart immediately tensed up as he looked at Xiao Yan, who was approaching Lei Tai. Woo! The pain in his chest made Lei Tai's forehead break out in cold sweat. His mind was in a trance because of this. When he came back to his senses, Xiao Yan's fingertip was only 4 or 5 inches away from his throat. Lei Tai could even feel the chill from the tip of his finger. In the nick of time, Lei Tai also let out a furious roar. The Origin Monarch Ki in his body surged wildly. In the blink of an eye, a layer of lightning wall was formed in front of him. On the lightning barrier, tiny lightning threads that were difficult to detect by the naked eye were bouncing continuously, showing an extremely powerful defensive strength. The moment the thunder wall appeared, Lei Tai's figure retreated explosively. He did not have the confidence to block Xiao Yan's fierce attack with the thunder wall that he hastily deployed. Although Lei Tai retreated extremely quickly, Xiao Yan's speed was even faster. Flames curled around his 2 fingers and streaked across the remaining space at lightning speed. The lightning wall that was swimming with lightning threads was like paper. With a slight tremble, it exploded with a loud bang. The lightning threads that filled the sky were reduced to ashes under the burning of the flames. He easily broke through the lightning wall, and his 2 fingers continued to stab towards Lei Tei's throat. With this kind of fierce attack, if it hit Lei Tei, he would be crippled even if he didn't die. Bastard! Seeing Xiao Yan charging forward once more, Lei Tei's already pale face lost its color. He cursed in his heart. Lei Tei clenched his fists tightly, trembling. He had already used his true strength and all the monarch arts he knew. He never thought that he would be beaten by this brat who was merely a sovereign master without any strength to fight back. Xiaoyan's finger sword grew bigger and bigger in his eyes. A trace of madness flashed across Lei Tei's eyes. With a flip of his right hand, a golden bead instantly appeared in his hand. The bead was purple in color, and there were traces of golden lightning lingering on its surface. It seemed to be full of power. A trace of pain flashed across his eyes. The next moment, Lei Tei decisively threw it at Xiao Yan and said with a ferocious voice. "Bastard! Do you really think that I am going to lose for sure? Have a taste of this lightning accumulating pearl." Lightning accumulating pearl. Lien Yunhai seemed to have recalled something when Lei Tei took out the purple pearl. Now, he heard Lei Tei mention the name of this thing. Immediately, his facial expression changed drastically. He looked at Rek, who was standing not far away, with a calm expression. He took a deep breath and said in a trembling voice due to anger, "Lei family's master is really generous. As far as I know, this lightning accumulating pearl has been used by the Lei family for generations to reach the emperor cultivation level. The supreme elder who specialized in the lightning attribute used the lightning attribute origin monarch key that he had cultivated in his body for many years to solidify them. Every single one of these monarch emperor level experts was enough to cause serious injuries to the monarch emperor level expert. It was one of the trump cards of the Lei clan. He never thought that the patriarch of the Rex family would have such a precious grandson." Hearing Lien Yunhai's mocking words, Rek's face couldn't help but tremble. He let out a cold snort and gritted his teeth. "Lien Yunhai, don't use these words to mock me. Although the lightning accumulating pearl in Lei Tei's hand is just an imitation, it won't be a problem for him to deal with a first-star sovereign master." As he spoke, the purple thunder accumulating pearl arrived in front of Xiao Yan with a thunderous momentum. Sensing the violent lightning energy in the thunder accumulating pearl, Xiao Yan's facial expression changed slightly. It was too late to dodge, so he could only resist it. As his eyes sparkled, the red flames on Xiao Yan's fingers trembled slightly. A golden flame replaced the former. The golden flame emitted a series of crackling sounds of thunder. It completely wrapped around Xiao Yan's fingers. Under the nervous gazes of the audience, the 2 fingers violently collided with the accumulating thunder pearl. Kai! 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 An unexpected explosion rang out. When Xiao Yan's 2 fingers pierced towards the accumulating thunder pearl, the golden flame on his fingers suddenly grew in size. It vaguely seemed to have transformed into a tiny lightning snake. As the flames curled up, it seemed as if the golden flame had transformed into a tiny lightning snake. The thunder accumulating pearl shot out several lightning arcs, completely enveloping the entire thunder accumulating pearl. In an instant, the sound of thunder resounded throughout the entire martial arena. When Lei Tei saw the thunder accumulating pearl and Xiao Yan's 2 fingers holding each other, a layer of astonishment immediately emerged on his pale face. Although this accumulating thunder pearl was a replica, it was like the difference between the clouds and the mud when compared to the real accumulating thunder pearl. However, its power couldn't be underestimated. At least, ordinary sovereign masters wouldn't be able to withstand it. This lightning accumulating pearl was something his grandfather had spent a great deal of effort to obtain a few years ago in the Lei clan. He did not expect that his first time using it would be disadvantageous to him. Feeling the surging lightning at the tip of his finger, Xiao Yan could not help but feel a layer of relief in his heart. Although the lightning contained within this lightning accumulating pearl was extremely mottled, it was extremely violent. If he did not possess 3,000 lightning monarch flames and use the pure monarch flames to devour it, he would likely have suffered some injuries. Both of his fingers shook slightly. The 3,000 lightning monarch flames on it became a little stronger. The golden fire snake quickly swam on the lightning accumulating pearl. The intense purple light of the lightning accumulating pearl weakened intensely wherever it swam. The lightning threads within it also disappeared. Crack! In an instant, the lightning accumulation pearl lost all its energy. The purple light disappeared and a soft shattering sound resounded in an extremely quiet place. After that, the lightning accumulating pearl, which Lei Tei had given him with infinite hope, shattered into pieces in front of his shocked eyes. Hiss! When they saw Xiao Yan break Lei Tei's trump card like a hot knife cutting through butter, everyone below couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. Most of them were cultivators, so they naturally had a deep impression of the violent lightning contained within the lightning accumulating pearl. They never thought that this young man would actually break it in just a few breaths of time. The accumulating thunder pearl broke into pieces and fell to the ground. Lei Tei's heart also trembled, as if his heart had sunk to the bottom of the valley. Looking at Xiao Yan who was rushing towards him once again, he was at a loss for what to do for a moment. In an instant, Xiao Yan's 2 fingers approached Lei Tei's neck. The fierce wind that was contained on it instantly cut open a wound on Lei Tei's neck. Xiao Yan pressed his fingers against Lei Tei's neck and looked at the pale face of Lei Tei. With a glance, just as the killing intent in his heart was gradually condensed, a figure suddenly rushed over from the stands. The powerful palm wind carried the whistling sound of thunder as it rushed towards Xiao Yan. At the same time, Rex's furious voice resounded in everyone's ears. "Kid, if you dare touch him, I'll take your life." Before his voice faded, Rex's figure had already arrived on the fighting stage. A powerful palm struck fiercely at Xiao Yan. Sensing the powerful force of Rex's palm strike, Xiao Yan's facial expression changed. The wind force under his feet surged, and he dodged quickly, barely dodging Rex's furious palm strike. Paw! The palm that was covered with lightning struck down with full force, causing the place where Xiao Yan was standing to be blasted into a half-foot deep pit. After regaining his balance, Xiao Yan took a glance at his sleeve that had been shattered by the palm wind. He took a deep breath and a trace of anger appeared in his eyes. He raised his head and looked at Rek, who was standing in front of Lei Tei. Xiao Yan sneered and said, "Lei family's master, I don't think you should come to this place." Rek looked at the shallow wound on Lei Tei's throat and coldly harumphed. Just as he was about to speak, he heard an extremely cold voice coming from behind him. "Rek, you have violated the rules of the competition. Our agreement is invalid. Also, you actually attacked a participant. Could it be that you think nothing of the rules of our Falling Rock City? Today, you must give me an explanation." As he spoke, Lien Yunhai, who was wearing an embroidered robe, walked over with a gloomy expression. He happened to be protecting Xiao Yan behind him. At the same time, an aura erupted from his body. As his aura rose, his embroidered robe swayed, and his imposing aura caused the entire crowd to quieten down. The aura of a city lord was undoubtedly revealed. "No, this doesn't count." Lei Tei, who was standing behind Rek, screamed when he heard that the agreement was invalid. He knew what it meant when the agreement was invalid. When he thought about the fact that the beautiful girl could not fall into his arms, Lei Tei screamed desperately. "Humph!" Lien Yunhai stared at him expressionlessly and let out a cold humph. Lei Tei's scream came to an abrupt stop. When he saw Lien Yunhai's murderous gaze, Lei Tei couldn't help but shiver. Cold sweat instantly drenched his back and his proud head was lowered. "City Lord, this kid isn't from the Falling Rock City. The defeat this time shouldn't be counted. The agreement should be valid." Rek moved his body and completely blocked Lei Tei behind him. When he heard Lien Yunhai's words, he furrowed his brows and looked at Xiao Yan, who was standing behind Lien Yunhai, and said in a flat tone. Being angered by Rek's shameless smile, Lien Yunhai gritted his teeth and said, "Rek, have you lived to be a dog at your age? It's too late to say this now." "That's right. The Lei family is a prestigious figure in Falling Rock City after all. There are so many people watching from below the stage. Don't embarrass the Lei family." As soon as Lien Yunhai's voice faded, Qin Wei's voice sounded. As he spoke, the latter walked to Lien Yunhai. Intentionally or unintentionally, he blocked the path that Rek might take to attack Xiao Yan. Below, when Qin Fei saw Qin Wei walk onto the fighting stage, a trace of excitement quietly surged onto the former's face. Right now, the real show had just begun. Chapter end. Hi guys, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.